What? 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 That's very high pitched, that hurts. You talker, you back talker. You're a back talker. You're not just a talker, you're a back talker. Okay, I'm looking out the kitchen window. It's about 6:30 in the morning, and yes, we have light snow coming down. Making sure that we never forget that we may be in the high desert here, but it's also technically we're in the mountains. We're at 6,000 feet. This can happen. 64 degrees yesterday. Today, 6:30 in the morning, light snow. Yeah, it feels cold as heck. It is cold. We can't wait to go south. All right, here's our light snow. It's about 7 a.m. It's cold. It's in the upper 20s. The little dish right there we've got for the birds is frozen. Definitely not much snow, but it's cold enough. Very windy too. It rained last night. So last night it rained for about 3 hours. Rained pretty hard the whole time. So I think our roads are probably going to be flooded again. Okay, out here at 6:45 in the morning, and it's 22 degrees. And look at this thick frost on everything. It looks like we got below the dew point, and there's just frost on everything. It's on all sides of the trailer, the roof, on every leaf of all the trees. Wow. Everything is coated. Almost looks like we got snow. It's only gonna be this way for a few more hours. Yeah, look at that. Nice. Wow. This is amazing. Look at that. The way it makes the little spikes. It is so cool. It's on everything. Look at that. Going back in where it's warm. Get some more coffee. Ah, thank goodness, here comes the sun. Gonna warm all this up. I think we're gonna have a whopping high of like 54 today. So this is going to be a long-term review on 3 different items. The first one of those items is this, the Clam Pavilion. We've had this up since April. It's endured many windstorms, and you'll see on the inside I had to put in that pole. It's basically just an 8-foot 2x4 on some legs, and I drilled some holes in it so I could zip tie it to the top, and that's literally what it's taken to keep this thing up in the wind. But it has completely sun faded out. I mean, terribly. Really, really bad sun fade. You can see if I unroll this just a little bit, that's the color it was. But during the sun fade, it's been barely 6 months. It's already tearing. See, it's done. This whole thing's done for. So now we are at 6,000 feet. And with that elevation, means that the sun is stronger than it is down low. But it's really sad that this thing for $400 couldn't even withstand one full season here. And I did everything that you're supposed to keep this thing up in the wind, you know, and I'll never buy another one, I can tell you that. You know, I would leave it to we were never even able to keep any of these panels down, even with the little windows on them open, because it would just try to lift the whole thing up. I've had to stack all kinds of rocks and cinder blocks around the inside just to keep this thing from blowing away. And it's done nothing but fall apart, unfortunately. It's nice. I mean, I really liked it when it did work, but it couldn't survive. And I mean, yes, I could probably duct tape it, but this material is tearing really easy. See, it's tearing real easy. And that's because the sun, it's just done. So it means this stuff is not even made of a material that can survive UV. I mean, a lot of people, you know, don't just buy these things to set them up, you know, once or twice a year for a weekend, you know, for the money. A lot of outdoors people buy these to, you know, use all the time. So I don't know what other people's experience is with these clams, but maybe the smaller ones are made of a different material. I don't know. I mean, this is the Pavilion, the big one, but I think it's really sad that it couldn't survive a whole year at 6,000 feet. So anyway, that's item number one. Okay, so I'm under here, and item number two is our onboard generator, the Onan 5500, has crapped out, unfortunately, and it sounds like something major. It was a major knocking sound, and it doesn't want to start now. And once that knocking sound started, it was struggling to run. It's really sad. It only has, let's see, it's only got 1,490 hours on it. I changed the oil and did a full service on it at like 1410. I have religiously changed the oil on this thing at every like 75 hours, not even 100. And it takes 3.5 quarts of oil plus the filter, so it hasn't been cheap. I've changed the spark plugs out every 200 hours, and it calls for 250, so it's been done more often. Same thing, I put a new air cleaner in every 200 hours, and they're never really that dirty. I have taken good care of this thing, and at an Onan dealer, I have spent upwards of $2,000 on this thing. I had the whole upper end rebuilt last year at 1,200 something hours, and what a disappointment. But I know I can tell you one thing, I'm done with it. I'm not going to spend another cent on this thing. And unfortunately, because of the way it's put in here, it would be hard for me to put like a portable generator in here. You know, kind of like my friend with Dave's RV Life has done, because there's only room to put it in from the bottom. So, yes, some other time there's lots of room to put a big generator in here, but I don't know. I don't know if I ever will. Just like a lot of Onan owners that have had major problems, I don't see myself going with another one. I mean, to replace that generator, it's like $4,500, and it's supposed to have a 5,000 hour life. I bought the generator. It had 200 hours on it. It had been well maintained, and I put all the rest of the hours on it. So what's that? I put 1,200 something hours on it, and it's been very well maintained, and it just was all for naught. So, oh well. Okay, our third item is the Arxen generator, my backup generator. I'm guessing it's probably got about 1,600 hours on it. It still leaks oil. About 2 months ago, it started overheating, where the inverter would shut off and it would stop making power, even when it was only, you know, 75 outside with no sun on it. A lot harder to start now. And the only reason why it's still running decent is because the weather is cold now. So now it will run, but it's difficult to start, especially when it's cold out. And at this point, the way our power is, and the expenses that we have had this year, I still am going to be in need of having a generator. I don't have the money to upgrade my batteries to a much larger size capacity, and they're old enough that if I add any new ones to the mix, it's only going to ruin all of them. So the only thing in the cards is to keep going with another generator. So I have purchased a new generator, and it's on the way. And I'll tell you that it's bigger than this one, and this is 3,600 watts starting, and then its running watts are 3,100. But it only has a 25 amp circuit on it, so it's not a true 30 amp. So it's always struggled to start my air conditioner and things like that. So the generator we have coming is a 4,500 watt starting. It's a Champion, and a 3,500 watt running, and it does 39 amps starting and 30 amps running. So a much bigger capacity than this one, and it only weighs 20 pounds more. So it takes up the same size footprint basically as this. It's just a little bit wider, and it's remote start. Buying a Champion because of the recommendation from my friend Dave's RV Life. Dave has had a couple of Champions and had real good luck with it, and I've watched his generator start with the remote when it's really cold outside, and it's never had a problem. It always starts on the first push of the button. And I want a generator that works with the remote. I bought a remote generator. It worked twice. It only started with the remote twice, and then never again. Aja bought one. It started once with the remote, never again. I've got a new generator coming. Got a deal on it, so I'll do a whole review on that. It's been an expensive year with the vow renewal and the inverter going out, and all kinds of other expenses, going to Catalina, Sue going to California and Oregon twice, or going to Oregon to visit her mom, and thank goodness for having, you know, emergency funds. Technically, you know, since we hit the road, I think we've used like $10,000 of our emergency savings, so which is basically the entire fund. Thank goodness that, you know, we had prepared. So we're going to be heading south here very soon. We are just finishing up getting the property ready. More than likely, we will probably go down through Havasu and then to Quartzsite. And we're probably going to spend most of the winter there and not do too much traveling around. We'll probably go to a lot of the Nomad events, but we aren't going to do much other traveling, just to try to save money and get prepared for coming back here next season. There's a lot of projects that I would like to get done. It's not bad. It's a nice day out here. We have just a very light breeze. It's cold. It's in the 40s right now. I think the high today is going to be in the mid 50s, upper 50s, and then it's going to start warming up the next 2 or 3 days. We have just, I think it's like 5 nights. The temperatures are down in the 20s, and then it goes back up actually into the upper 30s. So it's not too bad. It's going to be nice to go south. Me and Sue have gotten very used to warm weather, and honestly, I can't wait to go down there, and I hope there's a mini heat wave. I honestly hope we have some 90-degree temps when we're down there. I doubt it, but and you never know, it could happen. So fall is here. It's different here in the high altitude desert, or, you know, kind of low level mountains. This is the ephedra plant, a little baby that grew just a few months ago from all the rain. It was bright green, but from the cold it has turned, and that's out here. This is what the fall colors look like. Same with this, whatever kind of plant this is, it's turned red. So in closing, regardless of the maintenance that I've done, I have not had good luck overall, I would say, with generators. Our first RV was a 1996 Bounder, and it had the Onan Quiet 4000, the Micro Quiet 4000 generator, and it had problems. I bought that RV, and once again, it only had 200 hours on it. I did the full maintenance to it, and not more than about 150 hours in, it started to leak oil and in general just have problems. And that was buying all of the Onan parts and supplies and oil, and it just, haven't had good luck. You know, I bought this RV, you know, it's a 98, and at that year, that was the best generator, the gas generator that they made. And it worked really good for about 650 hours. And then it just seems like it slowly went downhill. Man, that's a tough break. A tough break to have, you know, the onboard generator that will run both the air conditioners and stuff like that. It just really sucks to have it gone.